It's funny because I'm tempted to say that there's something more visceral about rock, but not necessarily. It depends on the music, depends on the band, it depends on the composer, it depends on all sorts of things. I mean, sure, Led Zeppelin is more visceral than Couperin, but on the other hand, Air Supply isn't as visceral as Ginastera. So it's not a matter of viscerality. Uh, there, and another word that is a dangerous word is complexity. Uh, Adorno has ruined that word for us, I think, for forever. Um, because I don't think that there's anything inherently good about complexity. And I even believe that the best music or the greatest moments in concert music tend to be the simplest ones, when everything is reduced to something absolutely primal, not in the screaming sense, but just something first, a sense of first things. Those are the moments that are the most jaw-dropping to me, uh, and those are also the least complex. The volume level and the fast tempi and the wildness. But no, it's not terribly often that I actually make some kind of reference to rock in an overt way. Singing extremely high, something being extremely soft, extremely loud. It's really extremes that I find interesting. Um, Music that just kind of is safe, and I mean, I always used to call it the moderato mezzo forte style, where it's not too loud, it's not too soft, it's not too fast, it's not too slow, it's just all nice. Uh, that does not appeal to me. It doesn't matter to me if music is if a piece is tonal or atonal or what the organizing system is, whatever there may, if there is one. All that matters to me is if there's a sense of urgency in the expression, and that the listener needs to bring a certain urgency to the experience of hearing it too. I have nothing against tradition. We seem to go through these periods where you throw out all tradition, like the early 50s, the Darmstadt people and so forth, and then you re-embrace tradition, and then you throw it out again, you re-embrace it. Um, certainly have no desire to go back and write music in the style of Beethoven or Schumann or Mahler or whatever. But there's a lot that I can learn and take from that music and ideally do something to it. I always warn my students to beware of typecasting. And the danger early on for me was being typecast as a percussion composer. I wrote a couple of little percussion pieces when I was still a student that began to get played a lot, and or still not played a lot. But I then realized that everyone was thinking of me as, oh, he writes great percussion music. And so I purposely have said no uh, for many, many years to any percussion ensemble request because I just don't want to be thought of as just that. And I know I'm terribly, terribly quaint and out of it, but I want to actually hear the music and the singing and not be distracted by some stage director's usually totally off the wall vision that more often than not has really nothing to do with the opera. I think a lot of the stage directors either know nothing about opera or they hate it. And they're really trying to distract us. I mean, I just I just want to see if it says, I've said this before, if the score says, because to me what the composer wants is important. If the score says a Rocky Mountain pass, give me a Rocky Mountain pass, and if the stage director wants to do something, teach the singers to act a little better, because they're terrible, usually, not very good actors. But that's what I want to see. I don't want to be distracted by, at the beginning of Rheingold, the opening scene, and you have 4 minutes of that incredible E-flat major chord, which is, to me, one of the most, it's every bit as important as the Tristan prelude. Everyone gets all excited about Tristan. The opening of Rheingold is every bit as radical as anything Wagner wrote. And then the Rhine maidens come in, and they're, the directions are very specific. You're supposed to see such and such. And so when we get 3 hookers at a hydroelectric dam, that distracts me and detracts from the actual experience of the opera itself. There's a certain kind of influence that's an overt musical one, and then there's a certain kind of temperamental influence. And Berlioz will always be the great temperament for me, although I'm not sure that one's going to find too many specific moments in works of mine where you say, Berlioz. The more overt relationships would, in my mind, be to Orff, to Varese. If there are things that I do that sound Rouse like or whatever, that's wonderful.